reasons. But first of all, this is not sponsored. I did buy this. And I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to get it unboxed here. So far, they have not blown off. It's been about 20 minutes. Welcome back to my channel. And before we get started, I'd like to ask everybody to please subscribe, like, and ring that bell if you can. It really does help. Rarely do I ever do a video about a single product, but this product has really amazed me. When the camping season kind of ended here, I started looking for a way to heat. Now I had the EcoFlow Wave 3, and that's fine. It's a heat pump. It will do air conditioning, and it does heat as well. But the issue with that is once it gets below freezing, it's not going to really do a lot of good. So I really started looking in earnest for a diesel heater, but I had a lot of issues with a diesel heater. I didn't want it in the RV, in my cargo trailer conversion, and I didn't want something that's going to draw a lot of power because this is an off-grid setup. I also didn't want it inside because I didn't want all those diesel fumes inside the trailer. So with all that being said, I went on this hunt and I looked exhaustively trying to decide what route I was going to go to make this work. Now, a few of the boxes I had to tick is I wanted to make sure that I wasn't getting any diesel fumes inside, as I said. I wanted to make sure it was something that would run power efficient and wouldn't use a lot of diesel and wasn't a nightmare to set up. Because again, I didn't want to permanently install it. I wanted this to be component, pretty much in modular like everything is on my trailer. I also wanted something that wasn't a big box of parts and pieces, you know, a separate tank, a separate pump, lines, all this stuff that I had to assemble every time I wanted to use it. I wanted something in this amazing 304 stainless case, handles on it, self-contained fuel tank, a cap that was going to be tight that I didn't have to worry about it falling over. Something I could pick up, put in the bed of the truck, put down when I got someplace, just throw the hoses on and away I went. This thing really ticked all the boxes for that. So over the next almost an hour, I'm sorry this video is a little bit long, you're going to see what I came up with. And I did some exhaustive testing on this in 3 different levels of weather, and I think I'm really happy with this, and I hope you enjoy this video and the testing I did. So let's get at it. So it's on to the next project, and this is the diesel heater that I kind of arrived at after spending an ungodly amount of time researching it. And this one kind of really spoke to me for a number of reasons. But first of all, this is not sponsored. I did buy this. And I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to get it unboxed here. I'm not going to shoot video on that. There are tons of people that are doing video that are getting paid, because it is sponsored videos, to unbox these things and to test them. But I think what I want to do is I think I want to figure out a way to get this put on the tongue. I'm thinking I want to get a box for the tongue and mount it maybe with some U-bolts up here on my extended tongue, and see about putting the diesel heater up here. So I will get back with you as I go through this process. So we got a pretty nice day today, so I thought today would be a really great day to get out here and check out the BougeRV diesel heater and see how it works. So I'm going to get some stuff together here, and we're going to do some testing and see what we get out of it. So let me set the scene for you here. So I've got about a gallon of diesel fuel here. I got the BougeRV diesel heater here, and by the way, this is not sponsored. I did buy this myself. And one of the first things I want to test out is, because I've heard both ways, I really want to see if it runs off this 12-volt outlet with a power station. I've heard that it doesn't run off power stations with the 12-volt outlet, cigarette lighter style. So I'm going to give it a try, and if not, it came with a 110-volt power pack, but I'd rather not run the inverter if I don't have to do that. And that's kind of going to make a big difference about how I power this when I'm using it for my winter camping. Now, what I'm going to do, at least temporarily, is I'm just going to use one of my Wave 3 inlets or outlets as far as the Wave 3 goes. I'm just going to do that. Maybe we'll tape the other one off. I'm not sure. Going to see how I'm going to do this. And then if I like the way this works, I think I might look at a little bit more permanent installation down the line. So that's what we got. I'm going to get things fueled up, hooked up. All right, so we got her fueled, we got her connected to the power station. Got everything laying out. Powered it up, put the app in the my phone, my iPhone, and it saw it right away. And as you can see on the screen, it found it, said it was in booting up mode. Oh, now it's starting to tick. Okay, as you can hear, it's ticking and it is booting up. And so far, it looks like the Delta 2 is running it. We got 112 watts it's taking. From what I understand, this drastically drops off later. But so far, so good. Sounds like it's getting started up. We're going to see how this goes. Ticking is almost completely diminished. About 122 watts. And the Delta 2 is still handling it just fine. Be really nice if this thing would run off the 12 volts of the Delta 2 or the Delta Pro. Okay, can really kind of hear a little bit more of a roar out of it now. And the ticking has pretty much stopped. You can kind of smell combustion too. Kind of smell the diesel fuel being burnt. So it looks like we're getting going. We're about at 101 watts on this. So it has come down. You know, at this rate, you could run off one of these power stations all night, it looks like. Which would be pretty good to get your heat all night, just one of these guys. And with an extra battery, you could go 24 hours probably, because I started with only 93%. And the wattage is continuing to go down. It's 99 now. All right, we'll go and take a look at the screen on this. Okay, as you can see from that screenshot on the app, we're really going to town now. The Delta 2, whoops. Delta 2 is only at 47. Boy, we got 24 hours with it. This thing's really kind of going to town now. You can really hear it's picked up. You can hear a lot coming out of the muffler now. So here in a second, I'm gonna, in case we need to clear anything out of the combustion chamber, I'm gonna let it run out here for a while before I aim it into the trailer. So we'll let her go a few more minutes. About 50 watts now. So, and it is running off this Delta 2 with no problem. So maybe some of the other power stations didn't have what it took to do it, but it seems like the Delta 2, the EcoFlow, is handling it just fine. All right, we'll let it continue to warm up here. All right, it is just screaming along. It's only pulling 51 watts. Got the muffler just over there in the center. Boy, I'll tell you what, these hoses sure are short. I thought at least they would be like 6 feet. I pulled and stretched on that thing as much as I could, barely got it in here. So I just blocked off one of the holes, and I think I'll need to make another piece of styrofoam and just make a small hole in it for that. Again, this is just going to be temporary. I'm not sure what I want to do with this yet. I'm going to figure it out. I mean, I've talked about putting a box on the tongue for this and maybe ducting it in here. I don't know if I like that. I think if I go with the box on the tongue, that's where I want to store my generator. I kind of like the idea of having my diesel heater right outside my door here. I'm going to have to give that some thought, but before I start going crazy and building any type of contraptions, I'm going to make sure I like this thing and it works well. All right, we'll keep testing this out and see what we get. Should have caught this a little earlier, but a diesel heater's been running in here about 5 minutes. It's 50 degrees right now in here. It's about 45 outside. So I think it's warmed it up a little bit in here. Get some lights on in here. Yes, I can turn lights on in here right now by using the solar panels. So you see them dim and bright a little bit. It's because I'm running strictly off my solar panels right now. Batteries are missing, but we do have an update coming up on a winter battery setup. So stay tuned for that. I've finally kind of made a decision of what I want to do for a winter battery. So I'll get something cut for this and we'll go from there. Got my temporary setup here for testing. I know it's pretty ugly, but it will do the trick to see, because like I said, I really don't want to blow any more holes in the outside of this trailer if I can help it. I would kind of like to use that opening that I used for the Wave 3 for this as well. So, in case anybody's wondering, yes, I do have a CO2 detector in here. It is smoke and CO2. I would not be in here with that running without a CO2 detector. So let's see, we're already up to 53 degrees in here in a very short time, like 5 minutes since I made the last video. So it's really cooking. All right, we'll keep testing her out. I'll go ahead and give you a screenshot of what we got on the app. So I admittedly have never owned a diesel heater or even been exposed to one. You know, like any of us, we just probably watched a lot of videos on it. So the one thing I was worried about is how warm this hose would get. And unfortunately, when I winterized the trailer, I took out my temperature gun. So that'll be something in a later video I'll have to record, what type of temperature we have. But, you know, it's warm. But that's all I'm going to say it is. It's just warm. That's it. It's certainly not hot to the touch. And we've been running now a little over 10 minutes. It does make noise. But it doesn't have that annoying tick, 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 tick. As you can hear, it's quiet as far as that goes. How would people feel about this in an RV park? I'm not sure. You know, I don't think this is any noisier than what a rooftop air conditioner is, quite honestly, with a condenser running and the fans. So, and of course in the winter, everybody's got their rigs completely closed up. So if I do decide to use this for a winter camp, say out at the Indiana Dunes, the state park, because the national park won't be open during the winter, that would have to be a consideration. Now, as far as leaving this outside, I imagine what I have to do, there's some nice handles on that. Might have to just run a choker and a lock back over the tongue of the trailer to lock it up. I don't think somebody would take it in the middle of the night, but I certainly wouldn't want to take a chance. So next I'm going to have to decide how I want to run this thing if I like it. So as you see, I do have that one solar connection there inside for the Wave 3. I'm thinking of using that connection in reverse. And I could just have it to where I could reverse it and set it up as an output instead of an input for my 12 volts to run this. Or my other choice, if it wouldn't run well off 12 volts, was to come all the way over here and then run an extension cord over off the 120. And in a park, that would be okay. But quite honestly, I don't like the idea of that when you're running on your battery system, either your power stations, because now you're running your inverter. So yeah, I think that's what we'll end up doing. So we'll continue to test this for a little while longer. As a matter of fact, why don't we go in now and see what the temperature is up to. Oh, it's warm in here. So 55.6, going up a few more degrees. All right, we'll continue to let this run, see what we get. We've been running about an hour now. Still running right around 51 watts now. Battery's still at 86%. Still chugging right along, doing really well. Hose is still, I can touch it. It's definitely hotter now than what it was, but you can touch it. So that's good. So yeah, everything still looks like it's going pretty well. It's warming it up really nice inside the trailer. All right, I'll do a screenshot then on the diesel heater. I think it's been about 2 hours now, maybe a little bit less, and it is warm in here. So we've gone up almost 20 degrees. Pretty close. And quite honestly, it is warm all the way to the back of the trailer. I mean, I really don't feel any difference back here. So yeah, I think this thing works great. Now, again, it's not that cold outside today. Just a little bit over 40, I believe. So I think that's going to wrap this test up. I'm going to have to find some better ducting for it, as I said. But I think it's performed really well. I think I'm going to get it shut down and let it get cooled off. Let's see where we're at on the EcoFlow. Still pulling around 53 watts. So we're at 83% battery. We could go 20 more hours on this Delta 2. So it definitely would run us overnight, keep us warm. All right, I think that about does it. What I'm going to do to connect my hoses from the diesel heater into here is I've gotten a piece of 1/4-inch Luan. Actually, it's a BCX I was using for the walls. And I needed a 12 by 20. And over in the storage bin, I found an 11 by 19. I couldn't even believe it. So I went ahead and you'll see what I did inside, and then I drew some circles with a pencil around there. So I've got it taped up here where it's going to go, and then I'll just drill my holes in there for my 2 ducts, and I will go ahead and get this painted up. And then for the winter season, I'll just go ahead and put a couple screws in this and screw this over the top of where the air goes. You know, I looked at popping another hole in the side for this, and I thought, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I've also, as you see, I've got, I'm started in for my power for my BougeRV heater. It's going to come in there, and it's going to go over and pick up the 12-volt circuit up here that the TV uses. It can be as much as a 20-amp circuit, so I will just extend that down. I will get a separate fuse on the TV to protect it. And of course, I will have a fuse on the heater as well. And I should have touched base on that while I was out here. But here's where that's going to go, right here. Then it can just run down behind the door into the heater. So I'm going to get that all done up, and yeah, I'm really happy with the way that's going to work out. And I think the diesel heater setting right out here close to the door is really going to be a good option. Well, as usual, I've changed my mind a little bit here. As I said, I brought my number 10s from my SAE connector inside. I'm going to have a little piece of surface raceway here. I was just going to pick up the number 12s that come from over at the DC panel 1 over and share that circuit with the TV. And I'm like, I don't like that. You know, the whole reason I put in these surface raceways were so I could add things. So I went ahead and I got some number 10s and I pulled some number 10s through the raceway over, pulled off the entrance fitting there and got down to my boxes in here, my 411/16 and over. So there they are setting, waiting to go in the DC panel. One circuit left's all I got though. Guess I wasn't counting on that, but I don't know what else I'm going to put in here. But that is going to get me a 20 amp circuit on number 10s, which is more than adequate, of course. This short distance over here and connected to that SAE connector outside. So we'll be able to, that startup current on the BougeRV heater, or pretty much any of the heaters from what I understand, is it's about 150 watts at the most, which is what, like 12 amps, somewhere in there. So I'm going to feel better about having the number 10s on that, on the 20 amp fuse. All right, I'm going to get back to that and get that finished up. So what I've done with those number 10s coming across from the electrical bay is they come down here to this recep, then they've extended over, got a box mounted here, and this is where I went through outside, and I'm connected up. So now I have the potential, because it's number 10s all the way, of bringing 30 amps out here to this SAE connector. Of course, I'll have it fused at 20, and then I'll have a fuse in the SAE to XT60i connector. Got the 30 amp outlet all hooked up, ready and tested, all ready to go. On the outside then, you can see I've got a filler put in. I'll show you that from the inside. And that's where my registers are mounted to bring in the return and the supply. I'm going to be bringing both in, just not the supply. So on the inside, I got this nice cover built. I still got a couple more screws to put inside of it. And then I've made this long cable that's the SAE to the XT60 with the fuse in it to protect it. So all I need to do now is get my ductwork, which ought to be in today, and we can do some testing. Although it's not very cold, it's 49 degrees right now, and it's almost December. So, but I think this will work out really good. I'll be able to get to very efficiently heat the inside of this, and hopefully not get any diesel odors or anything that could be drawn through the diesel heater when you don't have a supply and return. All right, so here we have our test setup. I've got it on a platform, and as you can see, I've now got supply and return ducts. I will definitely clean this up a little bit better once I make sure that this setup will work. I hesitated to put a 90 on the supply because from what I read, if you use any plastic ductwork, you can get smells. So this is all the aluminum ductwork you see here. I do have a 90 here on the return coming from the inside. So we're going to run this a little bit with this test setup, and we're going to see how it goes. So we're about 10 minutes into startup here, and we're going to see. So we're looking at about 120 discharge. The return air, which I'm hoping is going to be, 53 degrees on the return air. About 120 on the discharge. Let's see, like I said, about 10 minutes in. It's 48 degrees in here. Again, probably not the best day to try this because it's only, I think it's, let's see, it is 52 degrees outside right now. So we're going to let this run just a little while. Oh yeah, it's going up. See how warm it gets. Boy, it is blowing here. I'm standing quite a ways back and I can feel the air. We are about 15 minutes into the test now. So looks like we're about 150 degrees. Looks like we're about 54, about 155 degrees now. Yeah, it's really chucking out the heat. Okay, we've come up a few degrees on the other side of the trailer. That's a good thing. Yeah, you can feel it's really pumping it in now. So here's the part that really surprised me. So about 120 at the most on the exhaust. And the supply into the trailer is running almost 150. That is an incredible amount of efficiency in my opinion. We go out to the muffler's even cooler, 82 degrees. I was worried about losing heat in this duct, about 160. Whoops. About 150. So we're only losing about 10 degrees at the most over the dock. It's still, as we were just inside, it's hot. But I am really shocked that this is actually less temperature-wise than what the outlet is. Well, after it's run now for a little while, it's getting up there. The exhaust is up there, pretty close to what the discharge is. But I'm going to tell you what, that's still pretty amazing efficiency-wise, that it would even be close. I think that exhaust would be quite a bit hotter. But boy, it's heating up in there fast now. I'm probably going to need to consider running a fan or something when I'm running this to blow the heat across the trailer. It's been running about a half hour now and it's brought the temperature up in here about 15 degrees. Again, it's not that cold outside, so it's not the perfect test here, but I'm thinking one thing I've learned is maybe that outlet being straight out like that, even though it's got a little louver on it, and that is the one that came with the heater, may not be the best solution. We may need to do something a little bit different with that because, as you know, the bed lays out right along here, and I'm not sure if that's going to get my feet too hot or what's going to happen. So because the discharge temperature on that still is about 150 degrees. Now, I think I still have it running at max. So if I were to crank it back, and I may do that and see what that does to the discharge temperature, we may want to run it at a slower pace. To make it run all night anyway, you'd want to run it at a slower pace. At this pace, you'll run out of fuel before the night's up. So, all right, I think I'm going to crank it down a little bit, see what difference that makes. All right, the diesel heater has now been running at its lowest setting now for about 5-6 minutes, as you can see here on the screen. And boy, is it quiet now. Let's see what we got here. Oh yeah, temperatures dropped way down. But I still think with this temperature output, you'd be just fine, to be honest with you. Cold air return, about 54 degrees, it's sucking out there. And again, I think that this is going to be so much better in so many ways. You're getting 100% combustion air now by being the unit being outside, and you're getting 100% return air from in here, and you're also not heating the outside air to bring it up to the air temperature that you're discharging into the trailer. So it's kind of a win-win doing it this way, and all it is one extra duct. So yeah, I'm really happy with this. Yeah, still running right around 104 now. Oddly, this is just about exactly what the Wave 3 output was on the heat pump. And this is just about as quiet, to be honest with you. So let's see how this works out. We'll test it a little bit more here, and we're going to call our quits for today then. I'm probably a little crazy for doing this today. Sorry, it's going to be kind of hard to hold the camera in this wind. It's about 34 degrees right now with, I'm guessing, about a 30-mile-an-hour wind. And I'm out here at the trailer, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hook up the diesel heater. I want to see what it can do to heat the trailer, lower temperature, and I've never been in the trailer with winds like this, see if the trailer can even stay warm. So I'm going to get the diesel heater set up, and also going to be moving around with the heat gun or the temperature gun, trying to find cold spots in the trailer, check around the back door, etc. See what we come up with. Got it all set up. Starting to snow a little bit, and we're gonna see what it does. It sounds like it just lit up, and we're getting started here. Check back with you here in a little bit when we get her up and running. We have started to chuck in some heat now. So we are started up, and let's check the temperature here. It is 35.8 degrees in here right now. So we'll check back in a little while, see what we get. So far, so good. High wind and everything. It is running well. I don't like the way the hoses are quivering and blowing around, but so far they have not blown off. It's been about 20 minutes that it's been running, and it has come up 10 degrees inside the trailer. First time I've been out here with it this windy out here at the trailer. The trailer rocks around pretty good, but again, I don't have the trailer on any jacks or anything. It's just it's setting on the tongue and the wheels right now, so there's going to be a little movement in it, but it is cold out here. I have no clue what the wind chill is, but I would say long term, I certainly would have to do something with these pipes, the ductwork, secure them somehow, but so far so good. I'm getting about 110 degrees inside on the supply coming in. So we are about 25 minutes into the run here. About 120 degrees for the supply coming into the trailer. 48 degrees. I'd say not bad, as cold and as windy as it is. If I take the heat gun back here, like on the back door, 42 degrees. I'll tell you, not bad as cold as it is outside in the short time we've been running this. Let's see, the wall Okay, so the inner walls, this will be like the shower wall in here, 44 degrees. So not bad. Okay, so the walls in here are actually warming up quite nicely. So in the room here close to the heater, well, that front wall, the V-nose wall is a little cold, but the walls directly across here, yeah, warming up very nicely. So this is after a short time, and you know, keep in mind the trailer, I haven't been out here in a few days and it's been cold and windy. So I would say that's that diesel heater is definitely going to be able to heat this trailer. Uh, now, I'm not saying if it's 10 below zero windy like this, I can heat it, but definitely for the temperatures I plan on being in, this seems like this would work well. So we'll give it a little bit longer and we'll see what we come up with. We are about at 45 minutes of running the diesel heater. Still got about peaks at about 120 coming out of it. Put some lights on in here. That's a little better. The wall temperatures are really coming up nice in here. Huh. So as cold as it is outside, and this is something I've never really tested with the trailer yet. Okay, on the other side over here, it's 53 degrees. So we're up about 20 degrees in about 40 minutes. I think that's pretty good. So if we go here in the back, so even the back tail here, the door, the big ramp door, is almost 56. Shower room back here, and this is in and around the corner away from the heater. So like I said, I think I'm really happy with this. It's really feeling nice and warm in here. I got to be honest with you. I'm just sitting here letting it warm up, watching a little TV here. Got the Roku stick on, and it's warming up really nice in here. All right, we're going to go a little bit longer on this, but I would say so far I am really impressed with the amount of heat this is pouring in and how quick this is heating up this trailer. Just came out here to check on everything because it's starting to snow now a little bit. Thought I'd check the skin temperature on the trailer. It's 28 degrees out here. So being that the inside wall is 50, I'm really happy with that too. This thing's only been running a short time, less than an hour. And we've already warmed the trailer up all the way to the back of it. I mean, again, the heater's up here. All the way to the back of it, we're seeing nearly 50 degrees on the walls already. So, really happy with that, especially with the way this wind is blowing. I can't see that I'm getting any infiltration of wind into the trailer at all. So, got her pretty well sealed up when I put her together. And as you can see, doesn't look really pretty, but I really went out of my way to seal up this input area here. There's a lot of insulation foam and everything in there. There's a very small area that's really exposed. I have reached the end of my 1 hour test period, and I am shutting it down. You can hear it shutting down. Well, you can barely hear it now. So let's take a look here. 57 degrees. So we brought it up over 20 degrees in here. I think I'm just in time. I can hear the snow hitting the roof pretty hard right now. Can take a look outside. Yeah, I don't see it too much, but you can hear it. So, a little bit over 20 degrees, about 23 degrees, I believe, In 1 hour's time, the walls heated up. Everything worked really well. So I'm going to say I am really impressed with the BougeRV diesel heater. I think it held up out, the outside part of it held up pretty good. Yeah, all the ductwork stayed together. The only clamp I put on it was right here at the output for the hot air. But I have no clamps up here, no clamp there. And as I think I said earlier, I found this fitting on Amazon, this 90. So all in all, I think this is really a win, but it is cold out here. And we're going to try another test here on our diesel heater. It is about 26 degrees today, snowy. And I'm going to get this thing hooked up and we're going to try to feed some heat into this trailer and see how quick we can get it heated up. Let's go ahead and see what our starting temperature is. It's 30 degrees in here. So it's even a little warmer in here than what it is outside because it's 26 outside. All right, so we're going to get this going. It's been about 45 minutes and it is warming up in here. 46 degrees. So we have climbed 16 degrees in a frigid cold trailer on the other side of the room in just 45 minutes. So I'm really happy with that. Again, I think I get this heater set up in a more permanent setup. I think this could be a really good solution for heating this trailer. And especially, I don't see it for winter camping. But, you know, camping in the desert where it gets down to 30 at night, I think it would do just fine to keep this place nice and toasty warm. That wraps up my 2-hour test today on this 26-degree day. As you recall, we started with a 30-degree start. 62.8, so almost 33 degrees in 2 hours' time. So again, I'm not going to keep repeating myself, but I am really happy with that. It is nice and warm in here. I still got my coat on because I've been going in and out doing a few other things, but yeah, it's nice and warm in here. I'm really happy with it. I think I'm going to move on to the next step now of I'm going to design some type of structure to put that in so it can set out there on the side and during the winter months when I need it for heat and be good to go. All right, so that's going to wrap it up for our diesel heater test. I think we put it through its paces and I think I was pretty impressed with the way it worked. So I think I would recommend this BougeRV diesel heater to just about anybody for this type of setup. It's well made, it's nice and quiet, and it does the job, and I think the price is right. And I did buy it myself, so you know this is kind of totally my opinion. All right, thanks for watching.